Hi everyone in English 1301, it's Dr. E and I'm here with your final week instructional video. I really should compile some bloopers and outtakes because this is, I think, the fourth time I've been trying to do this today. So sorry that the first upload has some sound issues, some sound quality issues, and I sound like a monster apparently. Once every blue moon, and I could not tell you why. I cannot figure out the issues with the technology or the audio that lead to that. Anyhow, so sorry. So I'm gonna really try to make this the last time I try to record this. So just bear with me. We'll do what we need to do to get through it. So it is our final week in the course, and I hope that you're feeling good. You're feeling like you did everything you could, to be successful in the course, whether that is just, following the guidelines as closely as possible to all those major assignments, or whether it was submitting that bonus work. I am really proud of the work that you did. In the video that you can't really hear, I went on and on about how great y'all have been. This is such a wonderful summer session group, and I can honestly say every time somebody asks me how things are going, I smile because there are just so many of you who are putting forth all kinds of great work and effort, as well as, helping each other out. You're posting responses to one another. You're, in the Q&A discussion board asking questions or answering them. So I just really appreciate you all so much. So wanted to make sure I get that in before, for some reason, this video goes goes awry because of the sound or whatever. So it's an easier week for us because we did so much work last week. So this week we really want to focus our attention on the multimedia project responses. The sooner you're able to do those, the sooner I can finalize those grades, right? Because we're just waiting on that last 25 points for that major grade. And then the only other thing you need to focus on this week is the course reflection. And this is really just kind of a survey. This is something that helps me with feedback, helps me, set up future courses and make any changes that you might suggest, or stick with things that you suggest work. So just depending on you for that feedback. I am working to finalize some grades, so make sure you're keeping an eye on the grades area, so that if you have any questions or concerns, we can address those before the final grades are due. It's a quick turnaround with summer sessions, so we want to do as much as we can to avoid getting the grades submitted and then having the questions, right? So I'm finalizing some of the most recent mind maps and the week 4 discussion. I do want to note that I'm seeing some strange things going on with the analysis of Amy Choi's work. I'm seeing quotes that I don't recognize, and I ask, in the feedback I'm providing you, I'm saying, where does Choi say this? Because I'm not recognizing it. And I've read the article so many times, so I'm very familiar with it, but there are times when a quote just doesn't seem familiar to me, and I'll go and check the article, and the quote that somebody may have put in their work is not in the article. I don't know what the root of this is. I don't know if it's perhaps reading something by Choi that is elsewhere on the internet that I haven't found yet, or if it's perhaps a ChatGPT kind of thing. I don't know. No judgment at this point. I just want to know what's going on, but I've given you feedback as to, like, where's this quote? I'm also providing quite a bit of feedback on identifying the proper person to credit for quotes. So she has so many good ideas and speakers and thinkers that she includes as sources. We have to make sure that we are, properly citing those. So that's kind of the whole basis for watching that MLA instructional video, as well as looking at the document that uses Choi's work as an example, so that when we're working with indirect sources, right, those when we're reading something and the person we're reading is quoting somebody else, that's an indirect source. We really have to be vigilant. We have to be as ethical in our research practices as possible. So if she is paraphrasing somebody else's idea, we need to give that other person credit but we also need to give Choi credit because it's her article, right? So MLA is the worst, but there's a method to the madness. It's all about ensuring that anybody who's reading your work can properly identify, the source that you're using, the primary source, and then any sources within that primary source, right? So there's a very specific way to do that. I'm just throwing that out there because I'm seeing some inconsistencies and I'm just curious, right? Like what's going on there and what am I missing? What am I missing in terms of these quotes? Anyhow, all of that is to say that some of the grades are still being finalized, so it will take some time, especially with the multimedia project and the food journal collections, because the responses still aren't quite due yet for the project, and there is an extended grace period for the food journal collection, but I am trying to grade all of those things as they come. So if you have followed all the guidelines, if you've looked at all the examples for these major assignments, then you should be absolutely headed in the right direction in receiving the highest possible grade that you're seeking. So don't take up too much of your time worrying. Worrying takes a lot of time and energy, and it's just not worth it if you know that you've done all that you can. All right, so Q&A discussion board. This is the weekly video that will be deleted shortly if I can make it through this video. There's nothing to review because, we're at the finish line. We're so close. This is just this link doesn't go anywhere. It's just a reminder to complete those project responses, make sure those are in depth, that you are really reflecting on the work and the ideas of your colleagues and providing useful feedback. This is not feedback to correct one another. This is really just genuine kind of appreciating everyone's ideas, engaging with those ideas, not necessarily offering any kind of corrections. The course reflection is, like I said, it's just me looking for some helpful feedback from you. So if you click that, I let you know that this is an assignment where your responses will not impact your grade. So I'm not looking to get my feelings hurt with your feedback, but I do want you to be honest. I do want you to really think through the course, the materials of the course, and offer any feedback that you think might be helpful to me or to future students. So it's a mix of, multiple choice questions. There's some true or false, and then there are open-ended questions where I ask you for that feedback. Like I said, I'm looking for your honesty, because there's always room for improvement. I know this has been a crazy summer session with lots of delays and lots of issues, so I can't go back and correct that, but I can definitely try to plan for that in the future. But I do want to know your input in terms of the pace of the course, the number of assignments. I always get very mixed feedback for that because some of you are very comfortable with the amount of work and others are overwhelmed because, it's summer and things go quickly, but your honest feedback is appreciated. I will go through and grade these manually, but when I grade them, I'm not looking at your feedback. I'm just essentially, I can see in D2L if you've completed all the questions, and I will grade you solely on that. I will not go in and read the feedback that you offer until grades have been submitted. So I just want you to rest assured that, if you provide some constructive, hopefully not super negative feedback, that's not going to impact your grade, right? This is really an exercise for me, right? To do better if I can and to help students in the future. Okay. So heading back to our final week module, that's really it. It's just kind of wrapping things up, making sure that you don't have any questions or concerns about the grades that you're seeing. Again, I'm taking some time to update some of those weekly grades, but then a majority of my time is going to be spent on the multimedia projects, which I have looked at some of those so far, and they're amazing. Y'all are so great. As well as the food journal collections. It's a shorter assignment than we might have in a full semester, just because I really want, this practice of building on what we've done previously to become ingrained in our writing process, right? Because we don't have to sit in front of the computer and write a 15-page paper. We can take it step by step and chunk by chunk. And that's the whole idea, and revise as we go, right? So I just appreciate all the work that you've done and all the energy you've put into the course, because it definitely shows, like I said. And then there's that final week checklist. So good luck this week if you have finals and other courses. Good luck finishing out our course. If you're moving into the next summer session, hang on to that energy. If you are headed into a bit of a break, then take some time to enjoy it, even if you work full time, even if you have kiddos or have various other responsibilities. Try to take some time to enjoy getting through this course successfully. It's not an easy course in terms of, we just have a lot of different kinds of assignments. We're not a course where it's just 2 exams and a final, right? It's a lot of work, and I appreciate all that you've done. So hang in there, good luck, and keep in touch. Let me know how things are going.